take the price tag off. Cause I got it for a steal, bro. Yeah, so. This piece it's mainly white, yeah, and then it's like, you see, right there. So just throw this on here. I might grind most of it off. But it'll look, either way it'll look nice, cause just the light to the dark contrast. So we probably want What do you think? A little liner in there, what? Purple? I gotta put a little space in there. Teal. I don't know. Or just keep it all black. Fuck, I don't know. This is a dead giveaway what kind of glue I use. Yeah, it's coming out sick. We can leave it light like that, you know. Look at that wicked ass Simone in there.
Mine broke, and you.
What time do you have to be there? So we're gonna fine tune a lot of this after it's glued on, but for now I got the bulk of it going on to glue it. traditional like Japanese traditional chef knives they're not even barbed. They're just glued. I mean, if I put 3,000 pound PSI on here, try to pull it off. You know, and that's why I kind of leave a long tang too. One little thing I've learned about epoxy, it's not like fiberglass or anything like that. Like if you're gonna err on the side of mixing epoxy, err on having less hardener. People always think it's the opposite, and it's not. You put too much hardener in, you could just put 1 to 10 and it will still eventually harden. But if you put just a little bit too much hardener, it's sticky and goopy and won't set off. Especially when you ever see guys that do like the resin pour, bro, they ain't playing. You always see extra hardener in their shop because they're always putting less hardener than reacted, because it will harden. It may take a little bit longer, but it will fully harden. You put too much hardener, it gets hot, and then it doesn't never really fully cures for some reason. I could be wrong, but that's just my experience with it, you know. And the reason why I go all the way through is so I can pour I'll show you, so I can pour the epoxy. Whenever you just put it from the front, then you push it, the air wants to vacuum it back up, and then I don't know if that's a good glue in there, and so I do it all the way through so I know 100% I got it glued in right. I mean, that's why I'm not showing too much of the handle process too, is you gotta find a way to get your handles on your own to like really make sure you're doing it right, and you don't get, that's the problem is like, oh, when you're first starting, you're just making piles and piles of knives and you're never thinking about how many of these are gonna get returned. You know, like how many of these are gonna fail and how many phone calls am I gonna get that these failed, you know, and the handle fell off or the handle split or whatever. Like you really need to think about those things as you're making knives and you're getting into the world of like, okay, I'm gonna start selling them now. You better make sure you're trialed and tested and proven that that handle will hang on. Like I know one knife maker that was just super gluing all his handles on because it was faster, and he was ripping them all out, and then like all of them came back and were like falling apart and cracking, and you know, like you really got to make sure you're doing a good job, you know, especially if you're getting into the world of consumer, you know. So this is a pretty typical way to glue up a knife. A lot of Japanese chef knives are like this, just eyeballed. One thing, I don't know if I've ever done a glue up on YouTube, but I never use acetone to clean up epoxy. If you clean off the excess and you just put a little bit of Johnson's paste wax, especially in like full tang glue ups, Johnson's paste wax is gonna be your best friend, because not only does it clean the epoxy off, but it doesn't weaken the epoxy. When you pour acetone down all these spots, especially like a full tang knife, and you're wiping acetone all the way around, it's just creeping down into the glue up, and you definitely don't want that. And then even if you miss a spot, as long as the Johnson's paste wax touches it, it will come off. And so Johnson's paste wax is the best thing that you possibly can use Like people say WD-40, but it's too liquidy. It pours all down in there, or it gets down all inside the things and weakens and breaks down your what you're trying to actually glue up, you know. Johnson's paste wax is, I forget who showed that to me, but it's the best thing ever. It just cleans it all up, especially when you're gluing up Damascus. I can't remember if it was Peter Swartzberg, I think, taught me that. I learned a lot of shit from Peter, dude. Peter, if you don't follow Peter, you should follow Peter, because he is definitely somebody I learned a lot of shit from. He is the man. Okay. Let that glue for a little bit. We gotta let it dry for like probably about 10 minutes. This is like a Japanese style octagonal, or whatever they call it, handle, and I like the facets because it doesn't roll in my hand like really round chef knives. Some can roll in your hand. Some people don't like it because it gives them blisters, I guess, but that's why I break the edge right at the end just a little bit. But you know, your hand's not round, you know, your hand's almost built like an octagonal. And so I like it, gives me leverage. Whether your hand is wet or not, it doesn't, you're never having to squeeze it to hold it. It just doesn't want to move in your hand, even with the lightest of grips, you know. So it allows you to have a light grip. Kind of did in traditional flat fashion, like a light colored wood to 3,000-year-old bog oak to black and white ebony. And it's glued up, and we're gonna finish it up. And then having that long tang was pretty important to keep it balanced. I mean, you know, it's got some tape on it, so it's a little out of balance, but you know, that's where you want to hold it, so that's the balancing point, you know.
That's the cut there.
Should I get some paper cut? And right here you can be like, or I can say like, you know, we have a full video of stone sharpening. Like, I don't really want to. You're all like, hit the link, bing. These are these two products, the Ronin knife wax and the handle juice by Ronin is a company that I started because it's, you know, a lot of the different waxes and stuff, there's so many in it. It was like, I would be like, and they're all good, but there's just like little things like for Damascus, it's too greasy, and then this and that, and I wanted to do a little side project of making something because we would just make our own versions of it, and I would melt in a pot, you know, all these different products, and then, but we might as well like make it available to everyone, you know. It's not really a big money thing that we do, but this is the Ronin for the steel. You can put it on the wood or anything. It's all food safe. But then with the handle, I have a different product. This handle juice, it's a little thinner, and what's inside of this is we use, instead of using your traditional oils that people use like mineral or linseed oil or whatever, like we use Camila oil from Japan, and it's not the cheapest thing to put in, but it's great, works great. You know, I mean, see what kind of finish it puts on the wood, you know. So, you know, what we were able to achieve with this knife was, you know, we started out with a square or round rod, you know, round 1-inch 1085 Hitachi steel rod, forge it, to a lot of the geometry that we need. You know, we were able to customize it, put a forged choil into it for comfortableness on this index finger. So it gives you a flatter base to hit here. It's a little heavier, I would assume, than your certain standard knives, but it's balanced, you know. And you can let the weight of it, like this is where I hold it right here. So this is where I want the balancing and the pivoting point to be, and you know, you can see it's just a balanced knife, you know. And you know, let's see if it's sharp. I don't know. Let's see. So that it can cut paper slowly, or if it can cut it fast. And then we're also looking for like little things on it, like whether it bites, you know. So you see how it just bites? You don't have to saw it or get it moving. What you're looking for in a good chef knife is that it can just bite. You know, and that's for like this particular thing is, you know, when you hit like skinned vegetables and it kind of slides a little bit and you're like, oh, my knife's sharp, but that's what you're looking for is like the bite. Yeah, it's a great knife. I just woke up. Had a long weekend. I actually had my buddy in here. He does these poker chips, and we did some, and I didn't realize the collectability of, is that the word? Collectability of these things. Hold on, let me grab them. He does these are all the prototypes. They're all machined in Hawaii, which is super dope, you know. And we came out with all these Ronin or samurai versions of all my logos. And they're cool, and I didn't know how obsessed people were with collecting them. And it's kind of a cool little thing. This one's sick. It's got my samurai, dead samurai, and it's all patinaed and stuff. And the cool thing about these is they stack like actual chips, you know. And it's kind of cool, you know. It's like a very interesting. He also does a lot of pens, like these beautiful titanium pens, and so it's cool. And I have some other ideas to kind of get into this market. I might design some knives that these go into as logos, and so I've been starting on designing those things. But it's cool. I just had Mike over, and it's been fun. But the Nakiri, the Nakiri is done. It's one of my favorite vegetable knives, and that's what this is designed for. Especially when I'm cutting vegetables, I don't like have to rock all the time. And it's a very versatile knife. It's got exactly how we drew, a big flat part with slight rockers towards the front and back. Forged thin. It's got black and white ebony handle to 3,000-year-old ancient bog oak front, and I love it. Now, in the comments, we should put in what project are we gonna do next? Because I want to start doing these in series where, you know, where this was all the Nakiri, and we would like start to finish. We'll work a little better at capturing more of the moments, but we are doing this for free, so f off. People are like complaining, like, I'm doing this for free. I'm giving you information for free. I don't have a fucking Patreon or whatever. So bear with us. We're doing the best that we can, me and Dane. So, like, we're up early this morning. I gotta watch my kid in a little bit. I'm babysitting the daddy duty, but you know, I mean, basically this is what it is that we want to do these projects, and so we did the Nakiri. I mean, let's be realistic. Like, I will do a full samurai sword build one day, but I'm not gonna do it anytime soon. Like, so let's have some realistic builds that you guys think that I should do. Maybe more chef knives, maybe maybe a machete. Maybe we do the kukri next. The kukri would be good. But you know, I mean, it just kind of goes to an in-depth, more personal look into how I do things. And like I said, you know, you can watch it, pick up little tricks, and you can take what you want from it. You don't have to necessarily do it the way I do it, you know. But on to the next. Let's go.